Your New Balance kit, I believe this is the first time that they'll actually be available to purchase. And I'm just curious what that means to you, that you maybe see young fans wearing, a Coco original.
Yeah, it was really cool. A lot of people have been asking for a while to be able to buy my kits, and yeah, I think there's 2 colorways. I decided to wear purple today because I felt like it gave more day vibes, and obviously there is an orange kit for night. So yeah, I'm really excited, and I guess I'll take the free promo question. There's a pop-up at Federation Square, and you can buy the kits in person there.
Coco Gauff just made an announcement after her first Australian Open match that sent New Balance sales through the absolute roof. She casually mentioned that her tournament kits were available for purchase right then, and within 24 hours, New Balance made $3 million in the United States alone. Competitors are losing their minds trying to figure out how New Balance pulled off this marketing masterpiece. Do you think Coco Gauff is the most marketable athlete in tennis right now? Or is someone else bringing more value to their sponsors? Let me know who you think wins that battle.
Step by step, bit by bit, stone by stone.
So, Coco Gauff just gave New Balance the best return on investment they could possibly ask for. And it all happened because of one perfectly timed announcement after her first round match at the Australian Open. Let's break down exactly what happened, because this is genuinely one of the most brilliant pieces of sports marketing we've seen in years. Coco stepped onto the court, won her first match of the tournament with the kind of dominance everyone expects from her at this point, and then walked into her press conference.
She's quick with her first step, and it's explosive.
But instead of just talking about tennis strategy or her opponent or the usual post-match stuff, she made a special announcement that had clearly been planned with military precision. She told everyone watching that her Australian Open kits were live and available for purchase on New Balance stores right at that exact moment. Not coming soon, not in a few weeks, available right now while people were still buzzing about her match. And she even broke down the details, explaining there were 2 colorways, a purple kit for day matches and an orange kit for night sessions, and mentioning a pop-up store at Federation Square in Melbourne where fans could buy the gear in person. The impact was immediate and absolutely explosive. New Balance sales didn't just increase, they skyrocketed. Within 24 hours of Coco making that announcement, New Balance made approximately $3 million in sales in the United States alone. $3 million from one product line in one country in one day. That's the kind of number that makes executives at Nike and Adidas physically ill. But here's what makes this even more impressive. This wasn't some lucky accident or spontaneous decision. New Balance had been planning this entire strategy around Coco Gauff for months before the Australian Open even started. They knew exactly what they were doing, and they executed it flawlessly.
This is super cute. I like that. Thank you.
All right. Okay. 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 Camera. Okay. Set.
Coco, you ready?
Been ready.
Okay. Okay.
While other brands follow the traditional approach of waiting for tournaments to conclude and seeing if their sponsored athletes win something before launching merchandise campaigns, New Balance took a completely different route. They understood something fundamental about Coco Gauff's marketability. She doesn't need to win the entire tournament for fans to want to buy her gear. Her presence alone, her popularity, her influence, those are enough to move product. So, New Balance made the bold decision to go live right at the start of the tournament, having Coco herself announce that everything she'd be wearing was available immediately. That's guerrilla marketing at its absolute finest. And the crazy thing is, this strategy is working even better than their most optimistic projections predicted. New Balance has been transparent internally about the fact that they're going all in on Coco Gauff. She's not just one athlete in their roster, she's the centerpiece of their entire tennis marketing strategy. Everything revolves around her, because they've seen firsthand what she can do for their brand. Let's put this in perspective with some context about where New Balance was before Coco came into the picture. They were becoming increasingly irrelevant in the tennis world. While they had some presence in running shoes and lifestyle categories, in tennis specifically, they were fading into the background. The big names were wearing Nike, Adidas, or other established tennis brands. New Balance needed a statement, and they needed it badly. Their comeback started when they signed Coco Gauff, and it's been an upward trajectory ever since. She has single-handedly dragged New Balance back into relevance in tennis and then propelled them to heights they hadn't reached in years within that market segment. The numbers from last year tell an incredible story. Thanks to Coco reaching new heights in her career and consistently performing at the highest level, New Balance experienced a 20% rise in their sales. Their annual sales reached $7.8 billion, which represents a 20% increase compared to the previous year. That's not a minor bump. That's a massive leap that directly correlates with Coco's rising star. And New Balance isn't using some completely revolutionary new strategy this season. They're actually innovating on a previous approach that worked brilliantly for them. Let me take you back to 2023, when Coco won her first Grand Slam at the US Open. New Balance had prepared for that moment with incredible foresight. They waited for the exact moment when Coco secured the championship, and within seconds of her winning, they launched merchandise celebrating her victory. Not hours later, not the next day, literally seconds after she won. They had everything ready to go and just pressed the button the moment she became a Grand Slam champion. That gave them a massive head start over any competitors who might have wanted to capitalize on the moment. And it sent a clear message to the entire industry that Coco Gauff was their brand ambassador in the truest sense. She was making them relevant again in a market where they'd been struggling. That's precisely why New Balance gave her a $300 million deal last year. This wasn't just a standard endorsement contract. This was a 6-year partnership worth $50 million per year. To put that in perspective, that places Coco among the highest paid athletes in endorsement deals across all sports, not just tennis. New Balance looked at what Coco was doing for their brand and decided she was worth every single penny of that investment. And based on what we're seeing with these Australian Open kit sales, they were absolutely right. However, that contract will probably need to be renegotiated in the coming years because the competition is only going to get fiercer. Nike and Adidas, the two absolute giants of the sportswear world, are not going to sit back and watch New Balance reap all the benefits of having Coco represent them. They're going to go all out trying to bring Coco to their respective brands. They'll offer her massive deals, promise her signature shoe lines, dangle every possible incentive in front of her to switch allegiances. But until that day comes, if it ever does, New Balance should be incredibly thankful for what Coco has done for them. What makes this partnership even more powerful is the authenticity of it. Coco genuinely seems to believe in New Balance products, and that authenticity translates directly to consumers. When she announces that her gear is available, fans believe that she actually uses and trusts those products. That kind of genuine endorsement is worth more than any advertising campaign money can buy. The design of the Australian Open kit itself is actually pretty smart from a marketing perspective. New Balance created 3 distinct looks: an on-court look with a perforated stretch tank and pleated skirt, a practice look with a cropped tee and shorts, and a walk-on look with an oversized color-blocked tracksuit, plus 2 new colorways of her signature shoe. By offering multiple looks instead of just one uniform, they're giving fans more options to purchase and more ways to connect with Coco's style. Someone might not want the full on-court outfit, but would absolutely buy the tracksuit. That's smart product diversification that maximizes sales potential. The color palette is also deliberately chosen: hot marigold, navy blue, and daybreak periwinkle, inspired by the Australian summer landscape. It's vibrant, it stands out on the blue courts in Melbourne, and it photographs incredibly well for social media. Every time Coco steps on court in that kit, she's basically a walking advertisement that fans want to replicate. New Balance also made the brilliant decision to make this kit available globally through multiple channels: online in select markets, at all their flagship stores except one, and at a special pop-up in Federation Square right at the tournament site. That pop-up is particularly smart because it capitalizes on the immediate impulse buying behavior of fans who are actually at the tournament. Someone watches Coco play, gets excited, walks over to Federation Square, and buys the exact outfit she was just wearing. That's impulse purchasing at its finest, and New Balance made it as easy as possible by putting the store right there. The pricing is also strategically set between $65 and $175, which is premium but not so expensive that it prices out the average fan. It's positioned as aspirational but achievable, which is the sweet spot for merchandise sales. What's happening here is that New Balance has figured out the new model for sports marketing, and they've done it by being willing to bet big on Coco even before she proves anything at a specific tournament. Traditional sports marketing is reactive. Athlete wins, brand launches merchandise, sales happen. New Balance flipped that completely. They're being proactive. Athlete announces at the start of the tournament, merchandise is already available, sales happen immediately, regardless of tournament results. That's a fundamentally different approach that requires confidence in the athlete's marketability independent of their competitive results. And Coco herself is clearly bought into this strategy.
The way she delivered that announcement in her press conference was smooth and natural, not forced or awkward. She mentioned the purple and orange colorways, gave specific details about where fans could buy the gear, and made it feel like she was genuinely excited to share this with her supporters rather than just reading from a script. That authenticity matters enormously in marketing. If Coco had seemed uncomfortable or like she was being forced to promote the products, it would have fallen flat. Instead, she owned it and made it part of her personal brand, which makes fans way more likely to actually go buy the stuff. The $3 million in one day is just the beginning too. That's only US sales and only the first 24 hours. As the tournament continues and Coco keeps winning matches while wearing those kits, the sales will keep climbing. Every match is another advertisement. Every press conference is another opportunity to remind fans the gear is available. And if Coco goes deep in the tournament or wins the whole thing, New Balance is positioned to capitalize on that momentum immediately because the merchandise is already out there. They don't have to scramble to create and ship products, it's already done. So Coco Gauff just made New Balance $3 million in one day by announcing her Australian Open kits were available. And this is just the beginning of what they've planned. The partnership between these two is absolutely printing money right now. If you want more breakdowns of sports marketing wins, hit that like button and subscribe for all the latest updates.